Welcome to the Let Your Spirit Guides Speak podcast. I'm Deborah Engel, and I want to thank you so much for joining me today for information about living a happier and more creative life with the help of your personal spirit guides. You can find this podcast and many others at sacredstoriesmedia.com. Also, you'll find my book, Let Your Spirit Guides Speak, on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble, and at your favorite independent bookstores. And please stop by my website, deborahengel.com, for information about upcoming events and workshops. That's DEBRAENGLE.com. Today we're going to talk about a topic that universally makes people sit up and take notice, and that's the topic of money. We all need it. We often have a love-hate relationship with it, and we can be tainted by thoughts that money is dirty or that if we desire money, we must somehow be greedy. Today, we'll take a look at those thoughts through the eyes of spiritual guidance so we can have a new relationship with money. How can we make it our friend? How can we invite it, welcome it, and receive it with love and gratitude? What do you do when your bills are due, your checking account is almost empty, and you feel like nothing is working? How can you get more money when you need it? And how can we keep what we receive in a way that sustains and nourishes us? There's a wonderful quote in A Course in Miracles that says, "Our task is not to seek for love, but to seek and find all the barriers within us that we hold against it." In other words, we don't have to go out and find the love that we want, or the joy, or the abundance, or prosperity. We simply need to let go of the beliefs and thoughts that stand in our way of enjoying those very things, because in truth, we are love, we are joy, we are abundance and prosperity. A flow of money naturally flows through us. It's only our beliefs that turn off the faucet. So today I'm going to do something just a little bit different. I sat down and asked my guides some of the same questions that I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, and then I wrote down what I heard in response. So what I want to do today is to share with you my questions and their answers, just the way they showed up. Because to me, I learned so much from that conversation, and I hope that you will learn something as well. So here we go, straight from the guides. This was my first question to them. I have so many questions about money. I'd love to get your perspective on them. What can you tell me? And they began by telling me this. Yes, we are here with you always, and we are so pleased to address this topic because, as you say, it is universal. Everything is energy and needs expansion of energy to function best. Just as the universe expands and unfolds, so does money because it's an energy like everything else. The problem with money is that you've given it meaning that it was never meant to have. This has continued over generations, over centuries, and we're pleased that now humans can begin to see money in a different light. Money was meant to protect and gain security, to buy the basic necessities of life so that people would not starve or suffer. However, as people's desires have grown, the ability to make money to buy those goods has not always kept pace, which has created deep-seated fears about money and instances of extreme poverty and scarcity. This is no one's fault. It's important to make note of that because no one is an island in this, do you see? Everyone is part of the mass consciousness that defines what money is and what it can do. So you're asking about what money looks like in the life of individuals today. The issue is that people are frightened of money, of its power, of how they think money will change them, of not having enough. If you say the word money, often people will get a bad feeling in the pit of their stomach rather than joy. And even if they feel joyful, the expression of that joy can look like greed. You may be thinking of people on game shows who jump and wave their arms wildly in response to winning money. That feeling taints every interaction you have with money. The joy in it has been lost. But what if you saw it for its original use? To buy the basic goods of life that you need to be fed, sheltered, clothed, to meet your basic needs, and then see other money as an enormous gift for all the other things it can bring into your life, travel, entertainment, and generosity, among others. It's true that giving money allows you to receive more of it. This is according to a basic law of the universe. In A Course in Miracles, it says the only thing that is real, or the only things that are real, are ones that when you give them away, you have more of them. But you have contorted money to seem as though it doesn't fit that category. In fact, if you have $1 and you give that dollar to someone, it looks as though you have less. This is why people are so tight with their money, why they clutch it with clenched fists. But the energy of money is like the energy of love and joy and peace and compassion and kindness. It is generosity and trust that there is plenty for everyone. When you give money away, when you give that energy away, you have more of it, not less. So there's a major disconnect between the energy of money and the physical form of it. You measure money by the number of zeros in your bank account, either one big zero or another numeral with zeros after it. You can look at the number of zeros and instantly it triggers a feeling, either of abundance and joy and security, or of fear and humiliation and discouragement, all because of the number of zeros you see in your bank account. This is the power you have ascribed to money, and it's that power that's the problem, not the money itself. The meaning you've given to it is out of whack, not in alignment with what the energy of money is for. And so I asked the question, so what should we do to get in right alignment with money? The answer was, this is where your spirit guides come in, of course. Sit down and have a conversation like this one with your guides to become more aware of what money triggers in you. You may draw or walk or listen or lie on the ground and look up at the sky. There are many ways of accessing the information from your guides. But the awareness is what you're looking for. The awareness of what is my relationship with money? Is it love or is it fear? Do I feel worthy of abundance? Am I fearful of the responsibility prosperity would bring? Am I concerned about the changes in my life if I start to have money? Once you know the answers to these questions, you can work with your guides to make a healthier relationship with money. Then I asked, but what if I give money freely when I don't have much of it? And they said, it will look like the physical form of money is less, but your spiritual bank account will have grown. You will have made a deposit into your spiritual bank account that will pay you back when you need it. And I asked, but what if it doesn't? And they said, this is why American money wisely says, in God we trust. You are not trusting that green piece of paper or that silver coin. You're trusting the energy it represents, the energy of love and expansion, and you're trusting God to be a good steward of your spiritual bank account. And so I asked, but what if there comes a time when you can't pay your bills? You've been giving and giving, but there's nothing there. And they said, it's important to distinguish between giving until it hurts and giving generously. Giving until it hurts means giving away more than you can reasonably afford. Giving generously means giving a portion of what you have, but also honoring yourself and your own needs. This is why the 10% tithe is so effective, because it's generous and reasonable at the same time. It honors you and the recipient. It's a loving use of the energy of money. And so I asked, what about the idea that money is dirty? They said, this came from money literally being left in the dirt, on the ground, spit upon and tainted by those who worshipped it and condemned it at the same time. The, quote, dirtiness of money is simply the fear attached to it. Fear is what makes it dirty. Ask for the fear to be healed, and it is nothing but light. And so I asked, if someone is feeling stuck, as though the flow of money just isn't working for them, what should they do? They told me, first, find a few dollars to give to a favorite charity. That is the very first thing. It will clean up the energy of money faster than anything else. The contribution doesn't have to be a large sum. If you can afford $2, give that. If you can afford $10, give that. Just give something, and do it with love, letting the feeling of generosity fill your heart. Then ask your spirit guides to heal any fear-based thoughts that are currently standing in your way of giving and receiving freely. It's important, of course, to accompany this inner work with action. If you need to find a job, take steps each day to find one. If you need to find a higher paying job, take steps toward that. If you need to take better care of your money, move it into better investments or track it more carefully. Develop a budget that works for you. This is very important because inner work shifts your reality, but physical action shifts your experience within that reality. You need both. Your guides will work with you to bring you the opportunities you're looking for, but you have to go to the job interview prepared and professional. Rise to the occasion of clean money on the highest level. If your life is a mess, clean it up. If your home is a mess, organize it. If your finances are in disarray, sort them out with love rather than with fear. The cleaner and less cluttered you make your life and your relationships, the easier everything will flow into your life, including money. Then I asked them, you mentioned earlier that money was originally intended to cover the basics in life, and our ability to create or receive or earn money has not kept pace with our desires. Can you say more about this? This was their answer. Yes, your desires have expanded rapidly. In this generation, you dream about experiences and material things that previous generations have rarely seen, that have been reserved for only very few. Now, with mass communication, everyone is exposed to material desires on the highest level, and this has created a stress and dissonance within you. There is nothing wrong with desire. It keeps you charged up and motivated. However, when the desires cause you to feel poor, even when you're living a comfortable life, then your desires and money are out of proportion. They're not in right alignment. If the pursuit of money causes you to disregard your relationships, or minimize the beauty around you, or subjugate your inner work, then it's not in right alignment. I asked them, so should we keep our desires in check? Should we not dream big? And they said, dream big, then love exactly where you are and what you have. Think of this as a seesaw that you sit on every day. You are sitting on one end of the seesaw, and your spirit guides are sitting on the other end. You are at play with one another. Your spirit guide moves higher on his end of the seesaw, which causes you to be sitting on the ground. This is where your basic needs are met, and your spirit guide is high and aloft. Now you go aloft, dreaming the greatest dreams of what you want your life to be, including material things, and your spirit guide is on the ground, keeping you grounded. It is a yin and yang of energy. Try dreaming of what you want from an energetic standpoint, not from the standpoint of the material things. For instance, if you desire a big house, try dreaming of what that house will feel like, the spaciousness and the majesty of it, the beauty of expansion, rather than how many floors it will have, or how many bedrooms, or whether the fixtures will be gold or silver. And so I asked, but doesn't visualizing a concrete picture help us to manifest it? And they said, yes, but only if you are feeling that desire with love and wonder, not attachment and clutching. Do you see the difference? I said, yes. And they said, love doesn't mean attachment. It means freedom. You make love into a special relationship when you say, that person is mine, or that house is mine, or that money is mine. Look at a loved one and say, I love this person, and he is free. We choose to be committed to one another, but I don't own him. Then look at your house and say the same thing. Look at your money and say the same thing. I love these things and the people for what they bring into my life, and we will spend time together, maybe years together, but I do so with lightness, not grasping, but holding lightly and with appreciation. At this point, I told them, I understand, and they said, very well, this is enough for today. I hope that's helpful to you. I know that it was helpful to me. That idea of the generosity really being such a key in the whole cycle of giving and receiving. and being the very first thing that we need to do if we're feeling poor or we're stuck in a place of scarcity. And that idea of literally sitting on a seesaw, seesawing back and forth with our spirit guides. I love that image, that when we need to be grounded, they can ground us. And when we need to dream big, they can help us dream big. And we need both parts of that equation, but we can do that in collaboration with our spirit guides. So I hope that you'll listen to this maybe more than once, because I think there's a lot of wisdom embedded in there, and to a certain extent, a blueprint for how you can really start to get a greater flow of abundance and prosperity into your life. To help with that process, I have a short visualization that I want to do. And we'll do that in just a minute. But when I do that visualization, as soon as that's over, this podcast will be over. And what I'd like you to do at that point, if you're in a place where you can, is to get a piece of paper and a pen, or sit down at the computer, or speak into your phone, whatever's convenient, and record anything that came to you through the visualization that you might want to hold on to and to capture. It's so helpful to write these things down, to go back to them, work with them, ask your guides about them, and then keep learning. So before we get into the meditation, I want to say thank you again for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. There's so much more to come in this series of podcasts. So don't forget to subscribe to the Sacred Stories podcast stream on iTunes. And if you'd like more information about your spirit guides, please pick up a copy of Let Your Spirit Guides Speak through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and your independent bookstore. Also, I'd love to hear any questions or experiences you have about meeting and getting to know your guides. You can find my contact information on my website, deborahengel.com. So with that, let's move into the meditation. What I'd like you to do is to sit very quietly and take in several deep breaths. Close your eyes. Get comfortable wherever you're seated. Feel yourself just starting to relax. Shift a bit in your chair if you need to find that sweet spot of comfort. And take in a deep, deep breath, filling up your lungs, and let it out with a sigh. If you feel any fear, blockage, or fatigue in your body, breathe into that place in your body. Just fill it up with fresh air and with light. Breathe in the love and light and healing, and then exhale anything that no longer serves you. Making space for a new experience, for openness, and complete relaxation. Now move your attention to a place just above your navel, to the solar plexus, the seat of the soul. Become aware of a light or a flame burning there. You might see a candle or a lantern, or simply feel a warm glow. Go ahead and put your hands on your abdomen and allow yourself to feel the warmth of your own light. And now see the circle of light extending from this flame. Know that this is your light, your essence, and your connection to spirit. Sit quietly and breathe into that light. And now picture a golden orb over your head, a golden ball of prosperity. Know that this ball has been created with all the good you've put into the universe. The loving thoughts, the acts of kindness, the unique creations, the fine work that you've done, and all of the light of who you are. And now it's time for the prosperity in that ball to rain down upon you in a steady flow. Ask your guides to start releasing the abundance in that ball of prosperity and allow it to rain down over you. Feel the warmth falling down around you, in you and through you, touching every part of your being like little sparks of light. Sit in silence for a moment, feeling this continued shower of prosperity, and let yourself soak it in. If you feel any resistance, any sense of not deserving the prosperity, ask your guides to heal those thoughts so you can fully believe in your own worth and your own value. Breathe in the light and prosperity and abundance. Feel it touching every cell in your body. Knowing that it is simply coming home. Now take a moment to express your gratitude silently to your guides, thanking them for this experience and for their support and for their infinite wisdom. And express thanks to yourself as well for co-creating with your guides and for bringing all of the gifts that you are into this world. Contributing to the abundance and the prosperity. In this moment, know that all is well. Know that you can come back to this place at any time. So take in a deep breath. Let it out with a sigh. Take in another deep breath. And again, let it out with a sigh. Very gently and slowly, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Become aware of your surroundings. And as you're ready, open your eyes, come back to your space, and record anything that you'd like to remember from your experience.